Nothing lights up my day quite like exacting some sweet vengeance. Corsair's Vengeance RGB RAM sits about 44mm or around 1.73 inches tall. I'm using a 32GB kit rated for 3000 MHz and a 4x8 layout, but Corsair offers various other options as well. Some of their kits go so fast it gigahertz. Just like that joke. The modules sport a matte black heat spreader that looks pretty darn brutal and even, dare I say, rambunctious. Alternatively, they provide DIMMs in white in case you're aiming for some kind of winter build. The top piece is finned on either end with the Corsair sales logo visible in the middle. To ensure that all your ducks are in a row, the piece is removable and reversible. Beneath it, you'll find a diffusion bar that eliminates hotspotting for the 4 LEDs hiding out in the module. Now, enough of me rambling on. Let there be light. Corsair's RGB memory is controlled via Corsair Link, which can be found under Corsair's download page with this nifty search bar that I totally didn't miss. This time. Perusing the software, we have 4 main effects: static, color pulse, color shift, and rainbow. Static is pretty straightforward. You can set one color of your choosing to each module individually or all modules at once. The next effect we'll talk about is rainbow. We have the same options as before, being individually addressing the DIMMs or opting to have them all selected at once, plus a few new clickables to incorporate different customization options like speed, delay, and direction. Speed has a hysterical amount of steps, so I'm fairly confident you'll find something you like. And if I opt for the delay, I have 3 options of short, medium, or long. This introduces a little more dynamic to your system because it effectively turns rainbow into more of a rainbow wave. And as a final touch, you can reverse your rainbow's orientation if you're looking to attract a different kind of unicorn. Next up, we have color pulse, which is fairly self-explanatory if you're familiar with any other RGB software. You see the same exact options as before, except you now have the ability to choose up to 7 colors to cycle through. Finally, we have color shift, which is my personal favorite despite having the same pickings as color pulse. The colors blend together really well, and even if you're not totally satisfied, you can throw a sort of middleman color in between to help it along. After all that, I'm not entirely certain it'd be accurate to call these things DIMM anymore. And for those of you aiming for full system synchronization, Corsair's Vengeance RGB is advertised to be compatible with Asus Aura, MSI Mystic Light, and Gigabyte RGB Fusion. Plenty of options to go on a rampage with. Now, I don't have an MSI board, and I couldn't get this to work properly with my Gigabyte Z370 Aorus Gaming 7 and their RGB Fusion software, but I can show you Asus Aura on my Maximus 9 Hero. Starting from the top, we have static, where you can set one color throughout your system or per module/zone. Note this is the only effect that supports white. Breathing and color cycle, neither of which seem to work on my modules. Rainbow, which is basically color cycle with the option to restrict the DIMMs to a range of colors or adjust speed if you choose. Comet, a fairly flashy effect utilizing the same options as the rainbow. Flash and dash if you wanted to one-up the comet. Wave with speed and color per module control if you wanted to scramble it up a bit. Glowing yo-yo with the same parameters. Starry night, same set, different effect. Strobing, which normally I would say no one should use, but this one's not too bad. Smart, allowing you to judge your CPU's load or temperature by the color of your DIMMs. And music, allowing you a wide array of options that cover a ridiculous amount of categories that you can obviously use for other styles of music or sounds if you're into that kind of thing, each sub-option allowing a different type of effect, whether it be a smooth transition, or a quick cut, or a strobing kind of effect, or a gradient of colors, or is it obvious that I'm trying to stall for time to show each one yet? And that's how you cram it all in. I mentioned earlier that I couldn't get this going with RGB Fusion on the Aorus Gaming 7, but I could install Asus Aura on the Gigabyte board, and all the effects worked flawlessly there. So, man, RGB is weird. As for the modules themselves, the lighting is bright, vibrant, and my initial impression was like, wow. My ex always said I had bad memory, but not anymore. And so that's all I have to say about that. Like, dislike, comment, subscribe, share, leave me questions if you got them. Thanks for watching. My name is Steven, and I am a little dim. Bye-bye. Those modules are better DIMMs. I'm just a little dim, but those are good DIMMs. As opposed to bad DIMMs. I don't know. Corsair's Vengeance RGB RAM sits about 44mm or around 1.73 inches tall. Tall. End of sentence. Alternatively, beneath it you'll find a diffusion bar that eliminates hotspotting for the 4 LEDs hiding out under... Now, enough of me rambling on. Let there be lights. Should that be more emphasized? Or is that good as it is? I don't know. Let there be lights. Let there be light. Let there be light. Let there be light. I don't know. Let there be light. Let there be light. Speed has a hysterical amount of steps, so I'm fairly confident. No, I'm not. Next up, we have color pulse, which is fairly self-explanatory if you're familiar familiar. Finally, we have color shift, which is my personal favorite, despite having the same pickings as color pulse. Darn it. For those of you aiming to and for those of you aiming for full system synchronization, Corsair's Vengeance RGB. I couldn't get this to work properly with my Gigabyte Z37D, but I can show you my Asus Aura on my Maximus 9 Hero. Did I say my Asus Aura? Now, I don't have an MSI board, and I couldn't get this to work properly with my Gigabyte. Z37D. I did it again. Wave with speed and color per module control if you wanted to scramble it up a little, a bit. Yeah.